This is the 1959 Riva Super Florida.
Rolls Royce of Runabouts.
Now this company Riva has a very rich, very interesting history. Lots of really cool facts about this company and about where this boat came from and what makes it such a high quality product. To give you guys a little bit of a backstory on the actual company of Riva, I found some information online on a website called Super Yacht Times. There's an article written by Vivian Hendricks. I believe I'm saying that correctly. And essentially they did a write-up on Riva and how the company was founded. So to essentially recap some of that information, it was founded back in 1842 in Italy, and a gentleman by the name of Puerto Riva founded the company after repairing a number of ships that were damaged in a storm. After a while of the company expanding and growing, his son, Ernesto Riva, introduced the internal combustion engine on the Riva boats, and he began building these absolutely gorgeous boats. It was after World War I where Riva really started taking off with the motorboats and the sporting of the motorboats. Now his son Carlo Riva really began to take the company into a new direction and really made a ton of improvements on these boats. Carlo Riva was absolutely obsessed with quality, and he wanted to make sure that his product was top of the line. So a lot of these boats, these Riva boats, before this model came out, the Riva Chris Craft, actually had Lamborghini engines in them. There's even one case of a twin V12 Lambo engine being used in one of these boats. This gentleman went above and beyond to make a really high quality product. Now, of course, in Italy, that was the norm, but out in America, they didn't particularly want the average consumer to have an exotic engine in their boat. Hence came the collab, if you want to call that, with Chris Craft. So Carlo Riva approached Chris Craft and offered to do a collaboration with them where he would put an American-made engine into an Italian-made boat. And by doing that, he managed to catapult Riva's future by working with Chris Craft. His suddenly an affordable American-powered boat was available to the average American consumer, and they absolutely loved the craftsmanship on these Rivas. Now this boat is absolutely way ahead of its time. For example, if you look on the sides of this boat, I'm going to give you guys a rundown from front to back of the planking on this, and tell me if you notice anything, and I'll tell you what it is after. Now if you didn't catch that, there is no separation in between these planks. It is one continuous length of grain from the back of the boat all the ways up to the bow of the boat. And the reason for that, here's one of the first very interesting things about this. They would allocate a mahogany tree, an entire tree, for one boat. They would cut that tree into pieces, and then they would attach it to the side of this boat, creating this long continuous grain down the side of it. Now if you compare that to any other boat, Chris Craft, Gravette, Standcraft, you'll see that there's a line, there's a butt block, and of course there is battens running along it, and you'll see splits where different pieces of mahogany are being used, but not on the Riva. And the other really unique thing you'll notice too is there's not a lot of plugs in this wood. There's hardly any. And the reason for that is Carlo Riva was an absolute innovator. So he was one of the first people to ever use cold molded hull sides. Now that's technology that Howard Hughes used. That's technology that came out of the First World War that they were using on airplanes, for example, the Mosquito. That is a very new technology that would have been released right when he started doing these boats. So they would have a mold down to the length of the boat. They'd put in planking like this. They'd put in planking like this. So you'd have an X shape, and then you would do the final finished plank running down the length of it. So the side of this boat is completely bulletproof. It's about 1/2 inch thick. Don't quote me on that. They might have used metric, but it's about 1/2 inch thick, and it's completely solid. One continuous line and hardly any plugs. It is absolutely phenomenal craftsmanship. And in fact, Carlo's nickname, translated from Italian to English, was the engineer. He was absolutely fanatical about how everything was made and everything was produced. So to prove that point, let's start making our way through the interior of this boat. I'm going to show you guys some really cool things about the inside of this boat. He made sun loungers in the back of the boat here, and you can see that this cushion here opens up This cushion here opens up, and this entire area can be a sun lounging bed. Now, the intriguing thing about the inside of this is that nothing is really fastened down. So sitting inside of this boat here, you can see the quality of the craftsmanship. We have this beautiful design etched into the wood. You have everything spaced out really nice. It's all been varnished. All these edges are broken. There's hardly any fasteners. He cared about the grain on the inside. I mean, I could go on and on. It is absolutely fantastic. And you keep in mind too that a lot of the other boats that we do work on, the insides of them are kind of forgotten about. They mostly care about, you know, the dashboard and you know, the exterior, of course. But the inside, he did not miss a beat. Now let's take a look at this. This slides forward, and of course right where I would be standing, slides forward, and you have a complete lounge where this cushion opens up. You can relax and lay in the sun, get a little suntan going on. Then let's say that you want access to underneath the seat. Typically there would be hidden screws, fasteners tucked away. Not on this boat. They used little bumpers, they used hinges, and they hid everything away. So here's the gas tank, in case you ever need access to it. I gotta tell you, working on these wooden boats, that is the nicest location for a gas tank I have ever seen. But you take this, you slide this entire unit forward. This is on a hinge as well. You can fold this forward, and back here, again, look at the quality. This is a hidden area of the boat, and it's varnished. It has beautiful curved edges. It has nice little chamfered finger holes so you can reach in there and pull things up. Now, here you have the hull number. You can see this is the Florida Super, and it's number 403. Now, it's argued about how many of the Florida Supers were made, but I can tell you that this particular year, the 1959, there was only less than 54. About 54 of these were made in 1959. And that is the culmination of when they were first released up until 59. This is number 403, ever produced by Carlo Riva. And you can see tucked away in this varnished area, you have a beautiful ladder. And I mean, just look at the craftsmanship. This is just a ladder. This is just a ladder hanging off the side of the boat. And here we have beautiful chrome pieces on it. We have this etching made into it. It is just absolutely gorgeous. Look how this locks in place. Just clicks in place. Now, something cool too that I haven't mentioned yet. Every single thing you see on here that's chrome, all these little pieces of metal, all the trim, the hooks, everything except for those gauges was made by Riva for Riva. They built all of the pieces on this. Even this window, which we'll get to in a second here, was custom made by Riva for this boat. Down below, again, nothing's locked in place or fastened down. You can see what's tucked away in here. And you can see again the quality and the craftsmanship of how they built this thing. It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, you may have noticed the oars as well, tucked away into these little locked away little hiding spots. Now, this was also installed by Carlo. Everything you see here is stock, aside from these buoys that are sitting in here. Now, these actually have oar locks that lock in right here so that you can paddle the boat if you ever experience engine failure. I mean, look at this. He leather wrapped the oars. That wasn't necessary, but that is something that he did for the craftsmanship, for that Italian craftsmanship that we see here. Now, tucked away underneath all of this, we have even more access, because why wouldn't we? Where we can get down into the transmission area. I have never seen in these boats a hatch dedicated solely for the purpose of servicing the transmission. That's it. Now, of course, the way that you get into the engine area is through this little hatch here. And there it is, the Chris Craft collab that they made. Just absolutely mind-boggling, the amount of work that went into making this boat the quality that it is. I mean, if you even take a look down here, you see that varnished piece with this little shape and this little shape here? That is a custom form built piece for a Riva anchor that they made that clicks into place right there in that spot. They built a spot for the anchor to be pressed into varnished wood. Completely unnecessary, yet he built it to the best of his design. And in fact, speaking on that, If you guys are familiar with throttle linkages, if you guys have worked on a Chris Craft, if you've seen the throttle linkages in the past, wait till you see the one on this one. I mean, come on. Look at that. Look at this quality. Look at the design of that. You have a force going this way, which brings a force to this direction, and it's so loose. It takes hardly any effort at all to move this. And if you're familiar with the throttles on these boats, typically that is a nightmare. I've never seen something engineered like that before. It's just gorgeous. So here in the interior, they have their own Riva made window molding. Look at this bracketry. No fasteners. This is all one piece with this little spotlight. This is all one piece. Going over to this little supporting bracket, that's all one piece. There's hardly any visible fasteners. And on top of that, they molded their own tempered glass. Look at this. This isn't plexiglass. This is a molded tempered glass that goes in here. Just absolutely unreal. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, what if I have this boat and this little piece breaks, or I lose this little rubber thing that's not held in very well in the water? Well, guess what? You can call Riva and they will make a new one for you. This is a 1959 boat. They will build you a new piece and send it to you. I mean, that's the level of quality we're talking here. They're still building yachts. They'll go out of their way to create and build you something. Now, talking about quality and all that, I really want to just focus in on the steering wheel. Now, I'm sure you guys have noticed this really odd pistol grip shape that it has, but take a look at the logo in the center of the steering wheel. I don't know if you can see that, but this is a piece of plexiglass. Behind it, the Riva logo is hovering, and then way in the back, a couple of inches down, there's a little prop shaft tucked away in the back of it. This is actually all open inside of here. This isn't cast in epoxy or anything. This is a little diorama, if you will, that they made inside of the steering wheel of the little prop shaft. Look how cool that is. Now, I'll show you guys some B-roll footage up close of the different parts. There's no need to talk about the anchor hold down and the light and all that, but one last thing I want to mention is the deck lines in this boat. The way that every other company, more or less, not all of them, but most of them does it, is they make a seam, they fill it with, you know, silicone or something, or they just make, you know, an indent in the wood and then they paint it, but it's painted. Is essentially what I'm getting at. It's usually painted. But in the Riva, this is actually inlaid wood. That's just some wood recessed inside of here. So if you want to update the deck, you want to freshen it up, it's literally a matter of sanding it down and then it's fresh, and you always have crisp, clean lines that do not change. They do not get thicker or smaller over the years. They're the exact same size. It stays consistent. It is absolutely gorgeous. And then of course you have the Chris Craft gauges in here matching with the Chris Craft engine in this boat. I almost forgot one of my favorite features on this thing. They put headlights in it, like a car. They put car headlights in this boat. Look at that. How awesome is that? If you guys are watching our project series on Rat Sink, where we're restoring a Century, you guys can watch that video right here in the corner. I'm doing a rat rod kind of project where I go a little bit crazy and do some interesting things that people may not like, but it's in an attempt to bring hot rodding culture into the boating world. I think I might actually do something like that on Rat Sink. If you guys watch that, you know what I'm talking about. I think I might put headlights on Rat Sink because that is hilarious. I love that. It looks very unique on this boat. It would be kind of terrifying cutting giant holes in the hull side, but I mean, come on, look at this. It's so cool. You could probably get like a modern car fog light or something to get stuck up in there. I might try that actually. And then of course here you have a siren. Again, all proprietary. I mean, look how beautiful that thing is. The siren on this boat reminds me of Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie. Just Now this boat is currently actually listed. This particular boat is listed on our website right now. You can click the link right here and it'll take you to the listing of this boat. I believe it's currently listed for 120,000 American. That's US, 120,000 US. We'd be more than happy to talk to you if you're interested in purchasing this boat. Honestly, the best craftsmanship I have seen on a wooden boat is this boat. And of course it's, you know, it's Italian made. That's the level of quality you'll get. If you're wondering about restorations or anything like that, this boat was actually restored by us. We did do the restoration on it. I believe Artem was mentioning to me earlier that he was the one that did the revarnishing on the boat. That was some time ago, quite some time ago, but you know, it's still holding up. It's in really terrific condition. It is quite an amazing boat. But as always, with these boats, we're gonna take it out on the water. We're gonna go rip around on the lake, and we're gonna get some killer footage, and I'll give you guys a little review of what that feels like, how this boat operates, how it performs, and yeah, let's head on down to the lake and see what it's like. So here we are at El Dorado. We have the boat ready to go in the water here. We're just getting ready to launch it. I am really excited to see how this performs in the water running. We had the engine running a little bit earlier and it sounds absolutely beautiful. They did a really good job of tuning this engine up, so I'm excited. Let's get this loaded into the bay over there. We're also going to be taking that one out. You guys can check that video out on our channel pretty soon. But yeah, let's give Andrew a hand. I don't know what he's doing right now. There's apparently supposed to be a thunderstorm at some point. Clouds are looking pretty cool right now, but hopefully that doesn't hit us while we're on the water.
Quintessential Rolls Royce of runabouts. Chris Craft was one thing, Hacker, Garwood, all the American brands probably evolved out of racing on the ocean. They developed a hull, a bottom that handled the water just beautifully. It's a very smooth boat in the water. And then topping all that off is just a spectacular workmanship that went into actually building the boat. Okay, so we're coming into a wave here. This boat is so smooth. Everything is smooth, including the steering. It's like having power steering in this boat, although it's just a rod system. It's just a pleasure to drive.
Looks like we're getting out of here just in time. Those storm clouds are getting pretty crazy up above us, so I actually can see some rain falling over there. The water's still not super choppy, so really glad we got that done when we did. So that'll do for the video today, guys. Thank you for watching again. If you want to check out this Chris Craft Riva on our website, make sure you do so. It'll be in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and if you feel like you want to see more of this content, we also do a project series. Make sure you subscribe and drop a comment, and maybe even hit that like button if you'd like. But thanks again for watching, everyone. See ya.